Hello, I'm Hannah Kaplan, and this is the WCS Wild Audio Podcast, where you'll find reported audio stories covering the latest news and newsmakers from the Wildlife Conservation Society's Global Conservation Program, Zoos and Aquarium, and their many partners. We've got a great show today, so let's get to it. The waters off of New York City are some of the busiest in the world, with both ships and marine life. In fact, new research co-authored by WCS shows that fin whales can be found in these waters all year round, and that has important conservation implications.
Believe it or not, this drum-like beat is from a fin whale, although we've sped it up about 8 times its normal speed, so you can hear it better. There's a lot we don't know about fin whales. They tend to live in deeper waters around the world, so it's harder for scientists to observe their behavior. One thing we can say for sure about these whales, though, they're really big.
They can range between 75 to 85 feet, which is about the length of 5 minivans on end or 2 school buses. So they are the second largest whale species on Earth today.
That's Carissa King-Nolan, a scientist on WCS's Ocean Giants team. Carissa says we also know that fin whales spend time off the coast of New York and New Jersey. Previous sightings and scientific work told us that. Now, thanks to a new paper she's co-authored, we know this area is actually an important habitat for these whales all year round. And we can say that thanks to years of listening she and her colleagues have been doing.
Fin whales sing at the very bottom of human hearing, so their calls are produced right at 20 hertz, which we can barely hear that. When they are singing really close to the buoy, it's something I almost feel the vibrations more than hear the vibrations. That's how low they are. So usually when we share songs, we have to increase the speed, so that way it brings it up into human hearing.
The buoy is an acoustic monitoring device that WCS and its partners at the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution deployed in 2016, about 45 miles off the coast of New York. It provides near real-time updates about whales in the area and helps with long-term monitoring. For this paper, Carissa and the team analyzed 653 days of audio from the buoy for the presence of fin whale songs.
So the buoy is deployed for about a year at a time, and that entire time it's recording this audio information and it's saving it to the onboard computer. So when we go and we recover that, or our collaborators recover the buoy, we are able to obtain those recordings and then go back through them and analyze them for the presence of whale vocalizations.
It's that longevity that has allowed scientists to make reasonable inferences about fin whale behavior. This is WCS's Dr. Melinda Rekdahl, also a co-author on this work.
If you just have 1 year of data, that's just providing a snapshot. Just in that 1 year, because of different oceanographic variables or environmental variables, there might have been food in the water for longer that year. Whales may have persisted in that area year round, but if you can show that year after year after year, then that gives you confidence in saying that whales are actually here year round, and we do hear them in all months of the year, every year, from 2016 until 2024. That's a great long-term data set.
The scientists also noticed 2 different types of songs, which could indicate we have 2 separate subpopulations nearby. Here's Melinda again.
So we found that songs during the fall through to the winter had short intervals. We call it an internote interval between the notes of the song. And this likely represents breeding behavior, while songs with longer note intervals during the spring likely represent foraging behavior. So we found that in one song year in particular, the majority of songs were composed of longer note intervals or long ionize. So we didn't have that switch from long ionize to short ionize.
This could mean the whales were foraging a lot more one year. Or it could mean that a separate subpopulation was making its voice heard. We don't know for sure. Ultimately, this work and continued study will help inform how we keep these endangered whales safe, Melinda says.
The New York Bight is one of the most heavily human-dominated regions along the East Coast. So there's large threats or potential impacts from shipping traffic coming into and out of those ports. We have recreational vessels, fishing industry. And now we have offshore wind development coming in and starting to rapidly increase along the east coast of the states and within the New York Bight.
The hope is that this research will lead to more efforts and better inform best practices to keep these large animals safe all year round. For WCS Wild Audio, I'm Dan Rosen.
Today's episode was produced and reported by Dan Rosen, with help from Hannah Kaplan and Nat Moss. The WCS Wild Audio Podcast is a production of the Wildlife Conservation Society. Please join us next week for a new episode, and don't forget to rate or review the show wherever you get your podcasts.